Hello everyone, this is Sunniva and you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings and welcome to another Every Game in a Collection video. For those of you who are tracking this, I am now standing on the floor. I'm not up on a chair anymore and you can see a little bit more than just my head. Let's talk about some games. First off, we have Adlerstein. This is an escape room kind of game, but kind of not. It's kind of unique. It says so on the box as well. You're figuring out a case. I think I'm not want to spoil too much, but the thing about this game is that expands. It's not just what you have in the box. You kind of have to use the internet and real world yourself to piece the puzzles together, and it's feels a little realistic in terms as well. I was not blown away by it, but if you like escape room or puzzle solving mystery games and you haven't checked it out, I think you should. Then we have a lot of unlocked games, and these I think are my favorite escape room games. I'm a huge escape room enthusiast and nerd. I really love escape room board games as well, and I think Unlocked does a excellent job of doing a lot of clever, cool puzzles with just cards, almost just cards, and it's replayable, not for me, but when I'm done with it, it isn't broken, which means that I can gift it or lend it out to other people that I think would like it as well, and I really like that. And all of the games, though it's just cards, it feels really different. It's set in different settings. It's very unique. The different, it has an app. I think that is important. So if you're like a non-app person in board games, then this is probably not the game for you. But I think the app is very well like incorporated into the gameplay, and it's the tutorial and the rules are really simple in terms that you can easily get into the unlock escape room game concept. It's easy to grasp, but the different tasks is what makes it clever. And next up we have Tuki. This is a dexterity game, and it's about building, like putting shapes together with helping shapes and making the shapes look like the picture. And you're all building like real time, and you have to do this as fast as possible. And it's in, what do you call it, in 3D? No, you're not building, it's kind of 2D, but you're building upwards, not like on a board, but upwards. You have to balance, and it's really stressful, and I'm not that good at it, but it's very fun. Then we have Slide Quest from Blue Orange. I think Blue Orange make really great family kids games, and Slide Quest is no exception. We played it, we got it at Essen last year, and it's kinda, this maze that you have to steer to get the ball not falling through the holes, like I don't know what it's called, but you have to balance with the boxes. It's kind of like this, but you're, instead of guiding a ball through the maze, you're guiding a little dude, and you're trying to not fall into the holes. You're sometimes trying to fight out enemies, and you also have a time aspect to take into account as well. And this has an app if you want to, with all these different levels and missions that you can do, with easy and hard mode and just free-for-all mode where you can take whatever time that you need. It's a neat game. Then we have Targi, and I've heard a lot of good things about Targi, and I've played it once, and Johannes lost, and he was a really sore loser, so we haven't played it since, but we made a top 2 only game list. What do you call it? Top 2 player only game list. Yeah, you know that I talk about the games, but I have to say it anyways. And people commented a lot about that we had to try Targi, and I will. I really want to. It shouldn't be here. It should be up on the shelf. Shelf of shame. Let's take it up there. Then we have Minute Realms. We got this at Essen, I think it was 3 years ago. And this is a clever game that we bought kind of on a whim, but it's become one of my favorite filler games when I need something really simple. I don't play it that often now because I don't know. It's actually really solid. You're building a kingdom, and there are always I think it's one card per player, no, maybe two to draft from, and that is kind of buildings that you add to your empire. And if you don't want the building that is in front of you, you have to trade with other people. So if you want to take the one in front of you, that's fine. Maybe you have to pay a base cost for it. But if I really need your card, then I have to pay you to take it. That means that you can take better cards later. And there's some combat that you have to take into account. And there's also, like, not with each other, but with the game. And there's also trying to get sets to score different points depending on what buildings that you have in the end of the game. Really clever, really fast and simple. Then we have Amun-Re, the card game. And this is an interesting game. It's about pyramids in Egypt and getting cards. It's kind of like an auction game. It is an auction game, which means that it's not my favorite game of all, but this is kind of actually enjoyable, and it feels really interesting, the decisions that you have to make to get the most out of the cards that you buy, but don't also like overshoot. It's just, yeah, it's a solid game. Then we have Power Grid, the card game, and this was one of my underrated games in the top list we made, top 10 underrated games, because Power Grid, the card game, is really good. And I think if I would choose to play the real deal, like Power Grid or the card game, I would probably for a long time now choose the card game, because I get the most exciting part of Power Grid when I play the card game. The auction is still kind of the same. It's really simplified. It's much easier to teach. You don't have the maps, so like the buying and controlling areas, that is not there. So if you love that, you're not getting it here. But also the buying of the resources, trying to be the first to grab the resources, trying to see, okay, how is the market now? Should I go spend big on this coal, what do you call it, coal factory? No, coal energy plant, now that it's not that much coal available. Really interesting to be such an easy game. It's a perfect gateway, I think. It's a neat filler. It takes like about 60 minutes. Oh, okay, so a little more than a filler. Then it plays up to 6 people, and it's just all the good things about Power Grid, a little simplified and distilled. I really like this game. Then we have Spyfall. I'm so bad at these bluffing games. It's horrible, and I kind of sit and I'm nervous when we play these games, and this is one of the worst. It's a very good game. It's super solid and it's fun, and I am so stressed out that I really can't concentrate on all the fun things, because if I am the spy and all the other players know where we are, I don't know, I have really no idea how to not be caught in this game, because this is hard. It's hard being the spy and trying to bluff and ask questions about where we are and trying to pretend that you know it yourself. Really interesting social deduction game. Then we have Patchwork. Patchwork is one of I think it's actually my favorite 2-player game. It's by Yuri Rosenberg. It's one of the first Tetris style games that he made, and he did it brilliantly. I love the circle of different tiles that you can add to your carpet, and how that you're only choosing about choosing amongst 3 at a time, and you kind of have to see what to buy before your opponents do, or move past before your opponent take it. And also you need to spend buttons, but you also need to spend time. So if you spend a lot of time, resources kinda taking one tile, then it's gonna be a while till you get a turn again, and you're trying to fill up your carpet, building as efficient as possible and not scoring negative points for the holes in your carpet. I really like Patchwork, and if you haven't checked it out, I think you should. It's also very nice and travel sized, and very, very solid Euro Rosenberg game. The 2 last games I haven't played yet. Clustered is kind of a silly, chaotic party game, and Cytosis is a game about the cells in the body. I don't think that Clustered is the game for me. It seems a little too mean and take that-ish, but I haven't tried it, so I can't judge before I have. And Cytosis, I really want to try because I'm a little, like, I don't want to say biology nerd because I'm not that good at biology and anatomy, but anatomy, I don't know, anatomy, yes. But in school, when we learned about the body to become optometrists, I really thought that learning about the organs and the cells and the way that the body works is really interesting. So I'm always excited to see how that works out in games. So should be on the shelf of shame. And that's the end of another video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sunniva, and you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.